Hey everybody, Charles Szczepanek here. Welcome back to the channel and to Beyond the Notes, where today we are talking about my favorite place to get sheet music online, Musicnotes.com. Stick around. Musicnotes recently sponsored a new arrangement and a new video of mine, so I thought we would start today off by taking a quick look at that. The arrangement is of the main theme from Beauty and the Beast, so let's check it out. It's great working with Musicnotes as a signature artist, so I thought we would dedicate today's episode to talking a bit about them, their company, their website, their app, and it's also a way for me to say thank you to them for what they do for musicians in general around the world, just making music, sheet music, so readily accessible anywhere you are, anytime you need it. It's been a real game changer in the sheet music world. And also to say thank you to them for their recent support of me and my videos and my channel, so thank you Musicnotes for that. And FYI, that clip of Beauty and the Beast, for now you can exclusively catch the entire video on the Musicnotes Signature Artist YouTube page, and that is linked down below in the description, so be sure and check that out. Anytime I'm looking for a piece of sheet music, I'm always going to the musicnotes.com website first. I always look there first for everything. There might be one caveat I'll give you, and this is coming from a classical musician, and if you're a classical musician also, you all probably already know this. There are some times when you need an urtext, a print edition that's by a very, very famous publisher that has access to all of the original manuscripts from the great composers. And in that case, what you're buying is so much more than just the music that's on the page. You're getting insights into the original editions, you're getting insights into multiple editions, you're getting variations in different parts that are written in the footnotes and stuff like that. It's so much more, and if you're a big student of classical music, you might be interested in something like that occasionally. But that being said, for every performance that I have given in at least the past 5 years, maybe even close to 10 years, every piece of music that I needed to buy for a concert, I have gotten all of it on musicnotes.com. I haven't ordered a print score in probably a decade. It's been a really long time. And I have found that when I go to their website, I like to use their search bar, kind of like you'd use Google search for anything else on the internet. They're awesome for just having that instant availability of music anywhere. And actually, I have a funny story about that too. A handful of years ago, I was playing a wedding, and I've got this electronic keyboard, and I'm out at a lakefront. It's not quite in the middle of nowhere, but I only had cell service on my phone, and I got this random request. This is in the ceremony. I got this request to play the theme from Super Mario Brothers. And of course, this is before I had my iPad. I didn't have a lot of devices at all. And I was like, I wasn't gonna try to make it up on the spot in front of a bunch of people and fall flat on my face. That just wasn't gonna happen. But I instantly thought I could probably check out Musicnotes and maybe get a copy of this. And so on my phone, I got onto their website and I bought the theme for Super Mario Brothers in the middle of the wedding ceremony, had it ready to go at the moment that the bride and the groom wanted it, and played it. And they, super happy people. It kind of made their day, and it was a last minute request that there was no other way that I could have made that happen. So there's a prime example of how that instant availability of sheet music can be so important in some random situations that you might just never think of otherwise. So of course, like any music retailer, you can print the sheet music off on paper, and I used to do that a lot, especially if it was in performance and it was only 4 or 5 pages long. I'd print off the individual sheets and I'd put them up on the music rack on the piano, just like that. Or you can print off, big scores and hole punch them and stick them in a binder, kind of the old school way of doing music these days. But you can also read the music digitally, and they have their own app for that, which is pretty cool. And it's kind of like just a PDF reader, but there's so much more to it than just that. In that app, there are a ton of features, everything from a built-in metronome to wireless printing direct from the app to annotation tools, so you can mark up your score on the go. There's even instant transposition on music that's supported. So let's say that you're a pianist and you're working with vocalists and you have copies at home of the 24 Italian songs and arias. And you know that there are multiple copies of that book because you need, depending on the singer you're working with and depending on their skill level, you'll need to be playing those pieces in different keys, right? Well, instead of having to carry books around that have pieces in different keys, in the app, you can actually just have one copy of the score, and you can click the transpose button and you can get it in a whole variety of different keys. Now, not every piece of music supports that feature, and actually none of my arrangements have that feature because those are all custom arrangements of mine, but an incredible amount of their catalog actually does support that. So you can always check that out before you buy a piece of music. You can see all of the keys that it could be available in, and you don't have to buy another copy to get it in another key, which is super cool. So even if you already use a digital tablet or something to read sheet music off of, now you don't have to have multiple PDFs of the different keys that you need everything in. You don't need them to be searchable. You have one title, one piece, and then you can click the transpose button and instantly get the sheet music in another key. And lastly, they even have a MIDI playback feature in the app. So you can just click play and check out exactly what you may be working on or learning and just see how it's going. See if you're playing the right notes, see if you're getting the rhythms right, if you're unsure of things like that. And you can do it all without even leaving the app, which is super cool. Okay, so let's take a walk through their website real quick. I've already got it pulled up on my computer here. First off, right on the homepage, we have some pretty cool things. Obviously, I mean, it's pretty amazing that they have over 400,000 arrangements. That's a massive, massive catalog of music, so very cool. The other thing that I really like is they've got these lists of top songs, new songs, recommended songs right on the homepage. So if you're looking for something maybe that just came out, for example, the Adele song came out not all that long ago, and you can see that's #1 on the top song list. So that's pretty cool. You can just find stuff instantly. You don't even have to search for some of those top trending songs right there. Also, if you had made purchases, I'm not signed in right now, but if you had made purchases, this recommended column would show up with things that are like or similar to stuff that you've already purchased. So you might get some insights into music you maybe didn't know, something that would be cool to find out. So I really like that list as well. Probably my favorite thing, and it's on the homepage and it's on most of their pages actually, is this top banner that has a discount code, which I think is super cool. They seem to have some kind of discount running, I would say most days of the year. Now, it's not always on all of their music. Sometimes it's on specific kinds of music that qualify for the discount, but there is always a possibility that what you're looking for might be on sale. And this is the best place to look at that. So you can see at the time of this recording, here's our amount of discount, 25% off gift cards right now. Here's your discount code that you can put in at checkout. It's got a timer countdown here. Great. The other cool thing is you can click right on this, on that whole banner, and it takes you right to the page where you can, for in this case, get a gift card. Super, super cool, right? Okay, let's talk about the search bar. This is probably the space that everybody's gonna go to first when they come to the homepage. You can find just about anything on Music Notes that you could want to play. So for example, let's just go up here and we can type in Bach. Whoops. Well-tempered clavier. Now, even though there isn't a book available for the whole well-tempered clavier, we get all these results, all these preludes and fugues, they're all in the well-tempered clavier. And let's just pick, how about prelude and fugue number 3, C# major, because that's everyone's favorite key. I played this piece back in high school. It was a part of auditions, getting ready for college. One of the most cool things about this is that I could type in well-tempered clavier, which is technically in this piece of music. It's part of that book. It's nowhere in the title, but their search is still organized well enough that I can find that. So if I'm looking for just a specific prelude and fugue, awesome. One other thing for classical players in particular, you probably know about many sites. There's one in particular that you're probably very familiar with, where you can find classical scores for free. And that's not illegal, because almost all of classical music is in the public domain. Where it gets a little tricky is that the scores that are in the public domain are scores where the edition has gone past the copyright limits in the United States. So while the underlying music is public domain, and that's fine, sometimes editions, publications of that music can still be under copyright. So what you usually end up finding on those free sites are editions that are either out of print or the publishers don't exist anymore, something like that. And a lot of times the editions are really old. So sometimes the notation is super messy. Sometimes it's somebody's scan, and it even has markings in it that someone else has made, and it's not always great. So either it's a really old edition where music was still printed on plates and stuff like that, and you'll have notes crammed together in order to save paper. They were notated and typeset in a way that really saved on paper, because paper was expensive. It's still kind of expensive. So if you are a classical player and you're looking for a score that's super, super clean, and let's say you don't want to buy a print book, you just want to carry this around, you want a really clean score that doesn't have anybody else's markings, that is engraved in a nice way, that's in a modern way, you can always come to Musicnotes site and find just about anything you could be looking for. So here's a great example of that. I own a book of Bach Preludes and Fugues, and it's awesome, but if I wanted that super clean score for my iPad and not have to worry about the legalities of it, because technically you're not supposed to take scans of books and put them on your iPad, this would be the perfect way to find that. Also the perfect way, like I said, to get a super clean copy. So, okay, other than classical music, how about let's search for something totally different? How about a friend of mine, Brian Culbertson. Brian Culbertson is a smooth jazz pianist. He's also a Mason and Hamlin artist like me. He is regularly at the top of the smooth jazz charts. I actually think he never talks about selling sheet music, so I don't think he sells any on his own website. And boom, here is 18 results for Brian Culbertson's music. And if you don't know who he is, check him out. I mean, he's got a very specific style. It's very different than what I do. But I like his music a lot. I listen to it pretty regularly, probably once a week. And then, wow, there's all kinds of music. So if you wanted to play it, his sheet music is on here. Okay, and how about, let's do another search. How about the guy whose last name is impossible to spell? So here we go. Here's a search for Charles Szczepanek, and it says there are 56 results. Musicnotes actually hosts my entire catalog of music. So right now, at the time of recording this, that is 56, and you can scroll through here. It's on 2 pages, so you can see everything that I've put out. Another cool thing, this works especially for me. Let's go back to the home page, so you are not seeing this page anymore. Let's say you don't remember how to spell my last name, but you know it's got an S and a Z in it. If you can remember Charles S.Z., bam, autofills, and you can just click on me. Did you mean Charles Szczepanek? Why, yes, I did. And here it is, we're back at the same page. So that is super cool. A little bit of an autofill, kind of like what Google does. Pretty great stuff. One of the super cool things that I wanted to mention about Musicnotes is that they've started organizing these things that they call collections. And collections are like a book of music, but in PDF form, so in digital form. So you know how you used to maybe go to the music store and browse and look through scores and stuff, and you might be looking for a book, maybe a book by a particular artist. Maybe it's like greatest hits by a particular artist, or top hits from the 2000s, or best love songs from the 60s, or something like that. Musicnotes has started doing these things called collections. And I am super excited myself because I have a few collections that I have just recently released with them. So first off, if we look here on the screen, you can see collections have a different graphic next to them. So a normal piece of sheet music is going to have this single note, this single graphic, right? Collections have a graphic that has 3 notes in it. So you can see anytime there's 3 notes in that graphic, there's going to be multiple pieces available in this PDF. So let's click on one of these. Here is my new Joyful Christmas collection. So right at the top of the page here, of course, we get the title, we have the price for it, we have the first page. But if you click here, you can actually see the first page of every one of the pieces that is in this collection, which is super cool. So there's 6 pieces. We get 6 first pages of each of those pieces, which is awesome. If we look down at the details, you can also see 6 pieces, 44 pages of music. Nice. You can see what you would save if you bought this in part of the collection instead of individual pieces. So if you buy all 6 at one time, you basically get like a piece and a half free because all the pieces are about $10. So if you save 15. And if you scroll down and you didn't click through the graphic on the top of the screen, here's a list of all of those pieces, the 6 that are in this collection in particular, and these are all clickable. So let's say you found the collection, but you already own 2 or 3 of them and you don't want to have to buy them all over again. Well, here's everything else that's organized in here, and you can click on this. You can go straight to that piece of music. Super, super cool. While we're on this page, actually, I wanted to show you another thing. Another cool thing about buying music on here, especially for the signature artist arrangements, and we're going to talk about a couple other signature artists in a minute. But down in the quick details down here, there is a link straight to the YouTube video if the one exists. So if you don't want to click up here and click the play button and listen to what the MIDI playback is like, but you want to hear a very nice artist playback of it, scroll down. You always look for this. Watch the signature artist performance now. You can click on this. It takes you right to the YouTube video. You don't have to leave the page. You don't have to do anything. It's embedded here. And it plays, and you can, of course, you could watch it on YouTube. You could blow it up to be full screen. But that, I think, is super cool. So you have that immediate access to a really nice recording to listen to if you aren't familiar with the piece, or you've got this MIDI access right on here, which is similar to what you also get in the app when you, say you're going to download it in the app and whatnot. Okay, enough about me. Let's talk about a few other signature artists. Let's go through a couple of my favorite signature artists. So, Leiki Ueda. I love this guy's work. He does a lot of video game and movie arrangements. The Lord of the Rings suite, I actually watched his live broadcast of this. So here we go. Here's another signature artist that I think is super cool. If you do have a chance, check out his work. I'd really, really recommend it. You might also be familiar with Costantino Carrara. Very cool artist. He's from Italy. He does very, very neat arrangements of a lot of movie stuff and pop music. I've been a fan of his for many years. So he has 81 pieces out here on musicnotes.com. We would be remiss to not mention Jared Radnich. Jared had a big hand in creating the Signature Artist program with Music Notes when they started. And he was an inspiration for me. He's also a Mason and Hamlin artist. He was an inspiration for me when I was starting to write Christmas arrangements and film score arrangements 8 years ago or so. He was a big inspiration. I saw his Pirates of the Caribbean video on YouTube, and I also saw his Harry Potter. Actually, we can probably click on that one. Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter. The first page doesn't look that hard, but oh man, it gets pretty brutal as you get into it. So Jared is another great artist, somebody for sure to check out if you haven't heard of his music before. Personally, I am super excited and grateful that Music Notes exists, because even if I'm not looking for new music, without them, artists like me, like some of the other signature artists that we just talked about, it would be impossible for us, well, next to impossible for us, to license our arrangements, to get them published and distributed, and then to pay royalties to everybody who's a part of the creative process. And especially in the music business that's been under such scrutiny for piracy and things like that in the last few decades or so, starting with Napster and stuff back in the 2000s. Sheet music is it's another piece of intellectual property. And it's really awesome that Music Notes has such a streamlined system where artists like me can write an arrangement of something that's maybe really well known, maybe an artist that I would never be able to reach out to their publisher or to them personally because they are superstars. I would never be able to do that. I would never hear back from a publishing company if I asked for a licensing agreement to make an arrangement. And instead, I can write it knowing 100% that Musicnotes is going to take care of the licensing. They're going to take care of getting everyone paid their fair share, which I think is so important in this music industry. That it's difficult for not only for the small artists like me, but even for bigger artists. It's still difficult for them to sell sheet music, to get paid the right way in the world that we live in where so much piracy exists. And anytime things go to a digital product, and that first was things like MP3s, recordings of music, and now that is turning into sheet music. Anytime you have a digital product, it is so easy for that to be stolen online. In fact, I think some of even my music has been stolen and is available out there. And that's just not a cool thing. I work really hard to do the stuff that I do, and anybody can go out and buy one copy of the PDF and copy it and make it free illegally. And so I really respect what Musicnotes is doing and just doing right by everybody that's involved in it. That is really cool. I hope you enjoyed this look around the Musicnotes website and app. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's just a little way for me to say thank you to them for not only for what they have done in support of me and my channel, but also for the music community as a whole, the music community around the world. So thank you, Musicnotes, for that. Hopefully you've discovered something you didn't know maybe about the website or the app, maybe something new. And get in touch, leave me a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until next time, I'll see you around.